my friends. Hello and welcome to me, mom, and dad. Happy summer. Happy 2025 summer. Hope you guys are doing the beach and all of the things. It's hot, hot, hot all over. It's hot down here in the south where I am, but we love summer. And I always give you recipes and things. And for any new listeners, I'll go over. I always like to inform new listeners how our podcast started. So I'll do that in a minute. I'm gonna start with some recipes and things. Folks love the recipes. So since we're talking about summer, we do a lot of grilling in this house. And I have friends who ask me, uh, we do charcoal. It's my brother and I mainly who are in charge of the grill, and he's the master, of course. And folks always ask me because they do gas grills, and we don't do gas grill. We do the charcoal and the fluid and all of that. And my friends will ask me, so Tia, how do I start it? So I'll do that first. That'll be the how to start the grilling, the charcoal grill uh, recipe. So we have a Weber grill, the little round black kind of kettle looking Weber grill, and we have a big gigantic big master grill where we put all of the ribs and everything. It's big, got two smokestacks, and that's the bigger one. So I'm just going to talk about the small Weber grill at first. Um, well, I say Weber because that's what we have, and that's what we like. You can get any name brand, but this is a Weber grill. I like to use Kingsford charcoal and Kingsford fluid. My brother, when he taught me how to start the charcoals, that's what he told me. Use Kingsford. And I do see him go off some no name brands, but for me, Kingsford lasts long when you gotta do some burgers. You want the charcoal to last a long time. Kingsford will last longer, in my opinion. Kingsford. So you get that bag, you pour in your charcoal. I like to do like say you would pour your charcoal on the left side of the grill. You could pour it on the right. I'm saying left. Pour a big pile, and I'll go pretty generous. My brother just does like a little tiny pile, but I will pour a generous amount on the left side of the grill. And sometimes I leave the right side of the grill. I I won't put anything on that side sometimes. Because when I put my burgers or my chicken, I'm putting them on the hot side, that left side where the charcoal is. When I'm getting too much charcoal, I want the meat to not burn up, I'll move the meat on the side where there's no charcoal. Now, my brother is the master of using chunks of wood so you can get nice flavor in your meats. So I've been doing that doing using the wood lately, watching him. So I do lately. I have been putting a small amount of charcoal on the right side, just a little small amount, because that's where I'm going to put my chunks of wood. So you got a big pile of charcoal on the left side and a smaller amount. I leave the middle part with nothing in the middle, no charcoal, because then I can move my meat there. And you get your Kingsford. Kingsford should pay me, huh? Like get your Kingsford fluid, and you take the grill off where you put your meat. Of course, you have removed that and set that aside. Take a brush and clean the grill the grill, what you call that? Just the grill part where you putting your meat. And you make sure you don't have that on there when you're putting the fluid where you're putting your meat. You don't want fluid all on your grill. So you take that grill part off and you just pour in that Kingsford fluid. I use a generous amount on that left side. You just bloop bloop, pour it, pour it, pour it, pour it, and then you pouring the the fluid on the smaller pile that's on the right side. Then you will. I put the grill back on because if I've been cooking and the grill is nice and seasoned, when I light the grill, that fire will kind of clean the grill too. After I've scraped the grill, it'll kind of disinfect it like. So you put the grill back on there and you stick your lighter down in there. Be careful. You light the left side of the charcoal. And because that fluid's in there, it'll start to flame up. So don't keep your hands down in there. Then go to the left side where you have your little pile of charcoal in that Weber grill and light that. Fire's going to come up. It's going to come up, come up, come up. It's going to come up. And it's going to kind of, like I said, clean your, really put some fire to your grill that you have cleaned. And you want your charcoal to get gray. That'll take like a good 25-30 minutes. All of the charcoal, left side and right side, will get gray. Once the charcoals are gray, you get a chunk of wood. This week I used chips. There's all kind of different flavors of wood. Down here in the South, they like to use oak, cherry, mesquite. I think I had mesquite this week, and I had chips. But I do like to use a big chunk of wood. My brother uses big chunks of wood. So you will take your wood and kind of get one of those gloves where you can manage to lift up that hot grill, or lift it up with a utensil or stick or something, because you on where that little pile of charcoal is, you're going to put your wood on top of the charcoal that is gray. So you put your wood on top of there. Once you put the wood on top of those charcoals on that right side, you're going to start to see the charcoal smoking up. And that's your flavor going into your meat. Now you can wet the charcoal, not the charcoal, you can wet the wood. I haven't been doing that. My brother doesn't do it. Sometimes he says he'll soak the wood in bourbon and different things. Depends on how you feel. This week I just put the dry wood on that smaller pile of charcoal. That is gray. And once it starts to smoking up, you got your meat ready on the plate. You put your meat on the left side, the left side of the charcoal, that is an enormous amount. You put your meat on top of there, and smoke from the wood is gonna go into the flavor. You put your top on. On the top of the Weber grill, you have a little part where you can open it or close the top. I open it, and you'll see smoke just coming out of there. It's exciting and fun. That's what it's all about, the fun and the going through the routine of grilling. If you enjoy it, it's peaceful, and it's something you enjoy to do if you enjoy it. And you take a look at your meat. If your meat's cooking too fast, then you'll move it to the middle. That's why you did not put any charcoal in the middle. Like I said, you can choose to not put any charcoal on the left side, so when you need to move your meat. But if you're getting more experienced, you can watch the stuff you're cooking. If it's cooking too fast, move it to the middle, or some parts of the grill that you don't have any charcoal. Did that make sense? Grilling. Kingsford. We like Kingsford. So let's talk about smash burgers. Next recipe. I will get ground beef, like 80% lean, and the rest fat. You want some fat. And usually the markets have the numbers on there. 90 per 8. Usually it's like 80% lean meat and the rest was 80 per 80 90 20. Wait a minute. 80%, 90, 100. Like the rest, 20% is fat. And that fat is good. So you'll get your ground beef, my friends. I like to put on plastic gloves when I'm doing the ground beef. It kind of helps me to shape my burgers. So I will take a big, nice amount and put a nice amount of ground beef in my hand. It's about a 3/4 cup. Uh, let's say it's a 3/4 cup. So yeah, you get your gloves on. You got that nice ball of ground beef in your hand, and form it into a ball. The gloves help everything come together. You place that down on. I usually lay out a sheet of foil and place that ground beef down on that foil. Your 3/4 cup of ground beef. It's in a nice shaped ball, and you smash it down with your hand. It's nice. Smash down, and you make like a beautiful circle with your hand, kind of circle that you like. Some chefs like to press in the middle of your ground beef. They like to press a little indentation in the middle. I do that, and it kind of keeps your burger the same shape. Smash down, make a beautiful circle. I use kosher salt and pepper. I don't make a big deal. That's where my flavor is. My friends and family love my burgers, and I just go for it with the ground beef. I mean the kosher salt, and I like the pepper that you grind. You can buy that little grinded pepper grinder. I use that. That's good pepper. Salt and pepper. Kosher salt, pepper. Both sides. Put it on that grill with the charcoal and all of the things. So we did the grill. We did the smash burgers. This summer, I like to make for my mom and my friends too. Like I call it a vegetable medley. So I get a pan. We usually in the summer use an aluminum pan so you can just throw away easily. And get vegetables. My mom likes peppers, the green peppers, those yellow peppers, the red peppers. What else? Some people like thin layers of squash. I even cut up thin layer of carrots. Oh, I like to put some chunks of tomato all in a pan. What else? What other vegetables? Tomato, peppers. My mom likes peppers. I put some carrots. The last time I did it, I cut up some smaller chunks of potato. And you don't want the potato too big because it's got to cook. Takes longer to cook. So I put some potatoes in there. You get a bottle of Italian dressing for all of your vegetables that you like. Well, I said squash, zucchini. Pour that Italian dressing on top of all those vegetables. Last time, instead of Italian dressing, which we always use, I saw a Greek dressing, and it had little tiny bits of feta cheese and little bits of olives. So I switched it up and used that instead of Italian dressing, and it was delish. So you pour that on top of your vegetables, put foil on top of the aluminum pan or whatever pan you're using. Go to your Weber grill and put it on there. Let that vegetable medley cook with the foil on top. It'll steam nicely. And you can put it right on the, I said you have an enormous amount of charcoal on the left side. You can just put it on the left side. After 20 minutes or so, take a peek up under there. But I don't think anything's going to burn. If If you need to move it to the middle where there's less charcoal, then you can do that. But those potatoes are going to cook. You're welcome. Vegetable medley. Last recipe for the summer, chicken piccata. Because in the summer, the kitchen is hot. So uh, this is a quick recipe and it's easy and delish. Chicken piccata. You need chicken cutlets, and they are boneless chicken cutlets. They're, thin chicken cutlets. I find them in the market. Some recipes say skinless. I don't say skinless. Just get the chicken cutlets. I prefer not to use the skinless, but some recipes do say that. And salt and pepper. I just use kosher salt and pepper. You need some bowl of flour or a plate of flour. You need butter. You need olive oil, chicken stock, white wine, shallots, and garlic. So you take your pan and a frying pan. I like to use cast iron grill because it's nice. Cast iron grill just will fry your stuff up so good, my friends. And you put a little tab of butter, like a tablespoon, and olive oil in your pan. I guess my friends get on me for not being specific. Like, we don't know how to cook, so you got to tell us how much. So maybe 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then turn your fire on. Let the pan get really hot. You will salt and pepper your chicken cutlets. Kosher salt, pepper. Then you dredge your chicken cutlet in the flour. Dredge, get flour all on that chicken cutlet. Your pan is hot. You see that it's hot, my friends. Put the chicken cutlet in the pan. It should go tss. If it doesn't go tss, then the pan's not hot enough. But I'm sure you're going to get it hot. So you let your chicken cutlets get brown on both sides. Couple minutes. You'll see. 2 or 3 minutes. And take the chicken cutlets once they're brown. Take them back out. Put them on a plate for a minute. Okay. And all of what's left in that frying pan is gold goodness. All of the bits from the frying of the chicken cutlets. You're going to fry your shallots and garlic. Put your shallots in there, then put your garlic. You don't want your garlic to burn, so a couple seconds. You'll smell that garlic, you watch it. Couple seconds. Then you pour your chicken stock in there before your garlic burns. Pour your chicken stock. Oh, did I say how much chicken stock? Oh my goodness. About half a cup of let me see, half a cup. Yeah. Yeah, half a cup of chicken stock. I'm so sorry, I didn't even say how much. Half a cup. I'm just thinking, is that too much? See, we cooks just do things. A quarter cup, half a cup's good. Pour your chicken stock in there with the garlic and the shallots. Then you're gonna pour your wine. I would say with the wine, uh, less than a half a cup. Like, what's less? A quarter cup? Like a quarter cup of wine. And the wine's going to cook off, so nobody will get tipsy or anything. So you'll stir that up, all the wine and the shallots. And you will put your chicken back in this mixture, back in the sauce. And uh, back up a second. Sorry, I forgot lemon. Lemon. Fresh lemon. After you put your wine, squeeze fresh lemon in with the sauce. Then put your chicken cutlets back in the sauce. Lemony, winey sauce. Yes. Then you take a tab of butter, put it in there, and it'll melt, and it's all good stuff, my friends. You're welcome. Welcome to me, Mom and Dad. Those are new listeners. This podcast started My dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's years ago, and we started this podcast because uh, the the positive things that we found out about, not positive things, but the his good days we liked to share with the Parkinson's community. Um, you know, there were tough days for him, but most days he lived a fruitful life with Parkinson's. And we like to share the fruitful things that he did to help the Parkinson's community. And that's how we started sharing recipes because a symptom of Parkinson's is depression and sadness. So to keep him happy, my family, my brother, my sister, my nephews, and sister in law, we always gathered around him and we would cook, and cooking brings people together, brings family together, and to keep his spirits up. And so we started sharing these recipes and sharing the joy. And that's how this podcast started, with me, my mom, and my dad. So my dad passed away 3 years ago. So we continue with the recipes and the joy, and he watches over us. My mom and I are grateful that we have his memories, and so I share with the Parkinson's community what my dad did to have a fruitful life. And the number one thing was exercise, exercise, exercise. I shouted from the rooftops on every episode. You must exercise. There were most days my friends didn't even know he had Parkinson's because he'd go to the gym, he walked, he rode the bike, and we tried to keep him with joy, joy, joy. And my dad was a pastor, so he always instilled in us to keep the faith, you know. And I'm in Parkinson's communities, and I saw a lady ask. I read that a lady was asking about, her husband and what exercise would do, and so that's why I'm shouting it from the rooftops. Exercise is the key. That's what kept his tremors and all this, a lot of the symptoms uh, away, at bay. And this lady said that her husband would get dizzy from blood pressure and dehydration. My dad dealt with that. My dad had high blood pressure, and the medications and things made him dizzy. But we just and dehydration was crazy. So water, water, water. He fought me on that. My dad did, but when he'd get up in the morning, I'd have a big gulp jug of water for him to drink. So it's important to stay hydrated with that. Parkinson's community, I always like to say a little something: joy, joy, joy. Those of you who are listening to my podcast, please subscribe to our podcast, please. There is a little Wi-Fi looking icon up the top of the page here, and if you click on that, you can subscribe. And we thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy the recipes. We'll always share the recipes because food brings people together. And thank you so much for listening, my friends. And keep up the faith, keep the joy, joy, joy. Yes. Hope you enjoy the recipes and get grilling. Enjoy the music.